Now you've been dating a while and you've met a couple times. So now you're at the 2.5, 3 year mark. You need to determine in that time, 2.5 to 3.5 years, if you want to close the gap or close the relationship. Because you cannot perpetually remain online. And I explained that a little bit before, but if you want, people say a long distance relationship will not work. It can start out a long distance relationship. It cannot perpetually be a long distance relationship, because you are going to want that person to spend time with you. You are going to want that proximity for intimacy reasons. How are you going to get married? Are you going to get married and then live in separate states or in separate countries? Those are things you want to determine. If you want to make this person your monogamous forever love, then you need to close the gap eventually. And you know what? I'm not saying you have to get married and move in together at the 2.5, 3 year mark. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you need to make a choice about it. Are you going to maintain the relationship, which means closing the distance, or are you going to end the relationship because there's not a way to close the gap? There's a lot of things that lead up to that, and we're going to talk about that next. In real life with the person eventually, because having a romantic partner in crime requires you want to go on actual dates with the person where people see you. You want to go to weddings together, have your wedding together, I presume. You want to have, if there's work celebrations, birthday celebrations, and just generally doing things with your partner. So the gap's going to have to be closed eventually. Then if you're very long distance, you need to be aware that you might only be seeing each other once or twice a year if you're countries or states apart. Just to give you an idea, one of my partners who was several states away, I didn't see them except for twice a year because a round trip ticket for 4 to 5 states was $500. So we're talking $1,000 a year together or apart, and it goes up from there. If you're going to another country, it could be $1,000 or a couple £1,000 to get to see that other person. And that can add up, so you can't maintain that. And even with my current and probably last relationship, that person is only 2 hours away. They're a 2-hour drive from me. And at this point, when I'm recording this in early June of 2016, I haven't seen my partner in over a month. So just know that with work schedules and events in life, you might not see your partner very often. Like I said, when it's more than a 20-minute time away from each other, you're just not going to see each other as often as you might disillusion yourself to think. And if you're still in school, you have classes, you have projects, you have homework to do, that gap becomes even more intense because the scheduling with work and school becomes even more intense. And life has its own things and other schedules. It's not just work and school. There's dentist appointments, there's physicals, there's hairdresser appointments, gynecologist appointments. Those are things you have to work around as well. And life itself, you don't know if there's going to be a funeral. I hope not. But you don't know when those things are going to happen. If your car's going to break down, if you get delayed at an airport, there are so many things to consider with a long distance relationship. You're married, you're going to get married. You finally decided you have to close the gap, you have to get rid of that ocean space, and you two are going to be together. Now there's a lot more to talk about, because now you have to decide the cost of moving to a new state, to a new city, to a new country. And you're not just giving up your apartment. You're not just giving up getting to see friends and family. You're also, because you need to make sure that you understand How often you see your partner is about how often you'll see your friends and family. If you don't really have any super close friends that you're worried about the friendship withering over, or if you're really not a big fan of your family and so ditching them is probably for the best, then that's not a big thing. But if you're close to your friends and family, who's giving up the friends and family? Where is the wedding going to take place? Because if you're in different countries, whose family is traveling the ocean and highways to get there? That's a very expensive thing in and of itself. When you're just moving down the street is expensive because you gotta pack all your boxes. If you want to find those boxes adequately, you have to label them. You have to get packing papers. You realize, where did all this crap come from? Wow. You think that you don't have anything and then you move. What? And, are you meeting in the middle where both of you are abandoning your jobs, your friends, and your family? Or are you sacrificing it all for them? Are they sacrificing it all for you? That can put a strain on a relationship and make an uneven balance where they're like, well, you owe blah, blah, blah to me because I did move across the ocean for you. That can cause some turbulence in the relationship. Get an airplane, ocean. And I'm saying stuff, when it comes to your job, are you going to have to quit your job entirely? Are you able to? Will you be able to transfer? That's going to cause a rift in the monetary aspect of things. Are you going to do you have to get a passport? Are you going to become a new citizen of this country before you get married? That can be very expensive because you might, depending on the country you're going to, like Australia, you might have to be quarantined and go have 1,000 shots before you can be in that country for a permanent basis. Some countries don't. Are you going to be able to carry your .38 Wesson Smith gun? They don't appreciate revolvers in all countries. You're going to have to, are you going to be able to move your car? Do you have to sell your car? There's just so many things, and you're abandoning so much when you move. You're losing the dentist, you're losing your hairdresser, you're losing your gynecologist, and you're losing the shop that you have memorized, the grocery store that you know where every aisle is, and you know who to talk to if they're out of green beans in the canned aisle. You're leaving behind a whole lot of familiarity when you move, and if you're both doing that and you're both starting afresh, because you both want to. You're done with your families, you're done with this crappy town. You want to start over and rebuild yourselves fully from the ground up. Then great, good for you. I hope you have a good time with that. But do consider that that is stressful. People can become depressed, even if I'm finally with my partner who I desire. Not having friends and family, not having friendly faces, not knowing where you are, maybe even not knowing the language, you're going to feel like such an ostracized outsider that you could get depressed because of adjustment disorder, which is a very common ailment that people who move get. They get this depression and dysthymia from just not having comforts of amenities and familiarity. So those are things to consider when getting into a long-distance relationship that are a little bit more negative or positive, but we're going to talk into what are the real positives of getting into a long-distance relationship. One, there's a lot of trust in the relationship if you let there be. Two, when you're in a long-distance relationship, you cherish that person more. And because you're dating and your interpersonal proximity relationships are so separated, when you are together, you're less likely to argue because you only have a short time, so you get over your anger quicker than in a real life relationship where that person's just gonna go home. If they're stuck with you, you don't want to be in that awkward, you're mad at them tension, especially if they flew across the country for you. You're going to be more forgiving, and that's going to ultimately make the relationship overall better. You are going to have a support system that is very deeply rooted and very intense. And those are all really good things about a relationship. And if you're a type of person who needs space and you need a lot of time to get to know another person before you commit all the way, a long distance relationship is a great way to be able to give yourself space. If you feel anxious or whatever, you can say, hey, I gotta go do something, and go away, and you can collect yourself and then rebuild from there. You can learn new things. It can give you expansion and exposure into a new life that will be very good for you, and it can help you step out of your comfort zone. You could get to travel for the first time because you didn't have an excuse to travel before. And you can get a chance to start anew. You want to get to know somebody completely different and get immersed in a new culture. It's a very eye-opening thing to have an long-distance relationship, because you get to see things through another person's point of view. You get to learn about quirks and idiosyncrasies of different parts of the world or different parts of your country. And it can be very enthralling and give you rushes of adrenaline just from that. And when you do finally, because the dating aspect is expanded, you're more likely to have the romantic state of a relationship much, much longer than the average couple has. And when you get to that point, you're less likely to divorce because you did devote so much time to that other person, and you do cherish that you finally get to be together because you know how hard it is to be apart, and so you don't want to have to do that to yourself again. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you all later. Bye! Hello everyone, and welcome to Makeup Monday. Today for Makeup Monday, I am going to be telling you my list of 8 of my least favorite accessories that other people seem to really love, and I just don't. I did make another list of things that people love to do for an FCA Friday that I'm really not interested in, so you can always check that out. But for now, let's get into it. Lip gloss. People love lip gloss in the makeup world. It's not for me. I don't like the feel of most lip glosses. Even this is an Urban Decay Pocket Rocket, even expensive lip glosses feel heavy and they're sticky just because of what a lip gloss is. And I've had MAC luster glasses before and lip glosses. There's just something about the consistency of a gloss that I don't like. I don't even like liquid lipstick very much just because of the gloss-like texture. I don't like how it feels on my lips. All of them feel slimy, and even though some of them smell very good or even look really pretty, like I love the pigmentation of liquid lipsticks, lip gloss, it's not very pigmented. I feel like there's, even green and orange and blue lip glosses just usually look clear and don't do anything that I need them to do for my lips. And an orange, pink, and red lip glosses all end up the same. Maybe I'm wearing a purple lipstick, but my lips are a little bit more pigmented, so I just can't deal with lip glosses. And quite frankly, I just don't like the idea of spending a lot of money on a lip product that I can't see, that's sticky, and my hair gets caught in. It's just not for me. I prefer tinted lip balms if I want something that's a little bit more smooth and moisturizing myself. And I don't like shiny lips. I am a big matte lip person. Lip glosses, no matter what, are glossy and shiny and satin in finish. Brow products. I don't like to do my eyebrows. I'm a person, I have very thick, very dark eyebrows as is. Like right now, there's no makeup on my eyebrows. This is just how they look naturally, which is just fine. If you have super thin, sparse eyebrows, I can see the need for brow products. But for me, I don't like the look of very drawn on brows and having the just penciled in looks. And I get that if I use powders, they look so artificial, and I think it takes away from the rest of my look. Yes, I'm a person who likes to wear more bold colors and more intense makeup. I don't want that on my eyebrows. And I know there's some people who are like, you're a fool if you wear a full face of makeup and don't do your eyebrows. But this is how I keep my bangs most of the time, which are just below or just at my eyebrows. So for me, I already have defined, thick, opaque eyebrows. I don't feel the need to have them look fake because I think that it detracts from the overall look of my face. And I know brows frame your face, but I don't want people to just be staring at my brows because of how artificial they look. Bracelets, even those bracelets that will go up and down my arm, that's just annoying. And the bracelets that stay, I don't like wearing watches or anything like that because I don't like my hands feeling closed. It's just like I don't wear choker necklaces. All of my necklaces tend to hang down like this one does because I don't like turtlenecks. I don't like feeling suffocated, and having things around my wrist gives me a mini feeling of claustrophobia, and the little bracelets itch me. The big bracelets are clunky and get in the way. If a bracelet's tight, I feel trapped, and if a bracelet's loose, it's just annoying. And if I'm trying to cook or bake, like, well, just take it off. How about I just not wear it? Some people love how they look, but I don't understand the point of bracelets. I understand the point of a watch, but I still don't like how those things feel, and they often enough they pinch my skin, and I'm just not a fan. Gel and hair serums. I put nothing in my hair except for the occasional detangler, and yeah, I use shampoo and conditioner. But when it comes to styling my hair, I don't style it very often. I don't curl my hair very often. I don't like mousse or gel or hair wax because, yeah, sure, it helps your hair stay in place or it keeps it flat so you don't have baby hairs like I do. But the little baby hairs don't bother me that much. But having my hair feel like a cereal bag and sound like that when I touch it, I want to have just soft, natural hair. I'd rather try to make my real hair the best that it can be. And I understand, and I don't like using oils because my hair is just the right consistency for me, where if I put an argan oil or anything in it, it feels greasy, it looks greasy, and it causes me to have dandruff. I just don't like putting gel or hairspray or anything like that in my hair. I think it's way worse for your hair. And as I said, I don't straighten my hair or curl my hair often enough to want to put all kinds of gunk and goop in my hair that I can't wash out. At least not right away. Scarves, those little dainty scarves that you wrap around yourself, I don't like them. I don't like how this feels. I think that they're beautiful looking, but I look at the price of some of those scarves and I'm just like, for something that is this thin that I can see through, if it's more expensive than nylon, when it's the same consistency as far as texture goes, that's really expensive for just a couple yards of fabric that are see-through. And I don't like feeling them. I don't see the point of those kind of scarves because they don't keep you warm or they make you too warm. And again, I don't like stuff around my neck, and I don't want to have to deal with something being right here. It just seems like an out of the way accessory, and if you like them, that's fine. But I'm just like, no, thank you. I want my neck to be free. Flip-flops. I hate flip-flops. I made an entire rant video about hating flip-flops, and it's because I hate this thing right here. I hate the thongs of shoes. Right now at this moment, I do not have a pair of sandals because I prefer gladiator sandals that are open-toed and don't have the little thong. I don't like it. It itches and bothers the space between my toes, and it makes me feel bad for my big toe, which might be weird. And I feel like they're so hard to walk in. They're uncomfortable because there's no support. Unless you're on a beach, and people wear them all the time and they praise flip-flops. But even cheap flip-flops or expensive flip-flops break, they get dirty, and you can see, it's hard to keep your feet clean. I'm a sock person. I really love socks. I love wearing my shoes. I love wearing sneakers in particular. Sandals are just not for me, and people love flip-flops, and I'm just like, give me real shoes, not those. And plus, they're not pretty. They're not pretty to look at. They just expose your feet for no reason, and it's easy to stub your toe. Just not for me. Tanning oil. For some reason, it's really, really popular to have a tanned complexion. And there are a lot of reasons to want a tan complexion. One, people think that pale skin looks sickly and unappealing, although people do prefer alabaster skin tones after the release of Twilight. Not that I'm supporting the movie myself. I didn't like it that much. If you did, that's fantastic. It wasn't for me. And I just don't like to tan. I don't like to fake bake. I burn really easily and don't get a golden reward. And I just don't like looking tan. I have been more tanned in the past. It just doesn't look good on me because of my yellow undertones in my skin. If I tan, I end up looking orange. I'm short. I look like an Oompa Loompa. Tanning oil has a very distinct smell of rotting coconut. And I don't like the smell of it. And tanning just isn't safe. And if you're put on fake tanner, it seems people are always complaining that it gets on their sheets, it gets everywhere. And I don't want to look orange. And every person who uses fake tan, no matter how professional they look, they end up looking like a seal or an Oompa Loompa. No thank you. No thank you. In purses. I'm specifically talking about fashion bags and purses, because I do have a little bag that I got for free that's a small purse, and I often use tote bags. I don't match them to my outfits. I typically only have one at a time. I like to carry a large amount of stuff with me, and I pretty much just like to have a mini suitcase as a tote bag when I'm walking around. I'm not spending hundreds and thousands of dollars or pounds on an accessory to carry my stuff that requires me to put effort into it, because I want something I can be rough with. I want something I can stuff to the brim without ruining the hardware or whatever. And expensive handbags, some people love them and they crush on handbags and on clutches. I don't understand the clutch myself. And I don't understand the purpose of having 100 bags to match a variety of outfits. I would rather just have one tote bag that matches absolutely nothing that I can just carry around. So this video was pretty much an excuse to just complain about things in life, but those are my 8 least favorite accessories. Tell me below or message me whatever telling me what your least favorite things are. Do you hate lipstick? Do you hate chunky statement necklaces? Do you hate the chevron design? What do you dislike in accessories in the beauty world or in the fashion world that make you go, how do people like that? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next week for Makeup Monday and another FCA Friday.